how to use the principle of scarcity to increase your value, increase the value of your product or service if you're doing online business, increase the value of your person for your social life. Very important because, hell, we're humans. We're very social people, very social beings, and understanding this principle, increase your value, just get better results in life. People will like you more, seek you out more, see you as more valuable, see your things and your work is more valuable. Very important. But if you use this wrong, then you'll actually get really negative results. So it's important to have a basic understanding of this. Welcome in, much love, Trav here. So we're going to be looking at this from two perspectives: perspective of online business and the perspective of social value, social life. And what we have up on the screen right here is just a very simple supply demand curve with a supply shift. We have the price on the left, we have quantity on the bottom. The red is demand and the blue is supply. This is a basic principle of economics that if you increase demand, then the price goes up. If you decrease supply, the price goes up. If you increase supply, the price goes down. So you see, for example, S1 over here, that supply one. If you shift it to the right, increase quantity, you can see how the price actually goes down just because there's more of it. It needs to get sold. It needs to be out there. And people need to buy it, but they're not going to pay as much if it's more abundant, right? So if you're too available, if you're always available, if you're all just so you just need, you just need people to buy your product, you just need people to hang out with you, that sort of thing. You're just so available, so everywhere, abundant. That can actually negatively affect you because people want to get some air, they want to get away from you, or they just don't see a need to buy right now because it seems like there's so many more chances, and just the perception is that the value of your product or service is not quite as high. On the other hand, if you're real busy, you're doing your own thing a lot, you're not around that much, you can't hang out that much, you're on a schedule, you have to be asleep because you got to be up early in the morning, you've got some big event you're flying to, you're not around, you're scarce. That actually increases your value because people are like, yo, this guy, he's not, this is my one chance right now, I'm not going to see him for a while or again, and because he's busy, he's got a lot of things going on. Or like your product is, I'm only accepting, and this is true, I only accept a couple life coaching clients because I don't have the time to do a lot of one-on-one calls when I could be making videos instead, or doing cool stuff instead, or calling my good friends instead. I can accept more coaches to my magic coaching program because I have other coaches doing that for me. But you see how the scarcity of, I just can't, limited time, but it's real. Low supply, but this is real. I'm just going to charge more, I'm going to charge $300 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, just because I don't care. I just don't have much time. I'm scarce, my product is scarce. And you see that, first one in, people put time limitations on things. You put time limitations on things, scarcity. I'm in Hawaii right now. Hey, I'm out of here in a month. I'm out of here in a week, I have one night, right? Time is scarce, so let's make moves, right? Or the sale is ending tomorrow, and it's a real thing just because after that point, I'm just going to focus on the clients I have for a while, so sorry, it's going to be shut down, right? Scarcity, using it to your advantage. Now, I hope you made it this far, because if you didn't make it this far, you missed out on the most important principle. At this point, just been kind of explaining how this works. Here's the most important principle, and this is where a lot of people will fuck this up, and what you need to understand is, if demand is zero, then shifting the supply curve does absolutely nothing. The price will be zero, right? The value will be zero. What that means is, if people don't know you, they don't notice if you're gone. They don't notice if you're scarce. If people don't know about your product, they don't notice if it's not available, or they don't know that it's limited, right? So what that means is, before you can use scarcity, you actually need people to know you. You need to establish yourself. You need the group to know you. You need the market to know you. You need attention. You start off actually, because here's the thing, like attention is spread so many ways. People already have friends, they already have relationships, they already have cool things they can do most of the time. Most people, they don't actually really need your product. They already have what they need. There's alternatives, there's other things they can do. You make yourself too scarce, I'm going to go with someone else, right? I'm going to find a different person. You make your product too scarce, I'm going to buy a different similar product, right? So, and that's even if I know you, right? If you're too scarce, sorry, like, hey, I've got to go with someone who's actually available for me. So that's negative of being too scarce, but also being scarce without first being around and letting people know you and what you're doing is actually really negative, because then you never take off. So, for instance, using scarcity in a social setting, yeah, okay. I mean, it's good. Time constraints are helpful, or can be helpful, and having a life can be helpful as well. But if it's like, I need to leave right now and I'll never see you again because I'm too busy, like, no value in that, right? So it helps to start off with new people and new social environments to actually be very available and be able to go with the flow and be able to hang out, be able to make plans, be able to establish your presence, be able to have people get to know you, have people get used to you. Right now you're raising your demand for yourself, and after that point, only after this point, can you withdraw. I'm doing my own thing tonight. I'm going out doing my own thing this weekend. I'm going on a trip for a couple weeks, right? At this point, you can let people start to feel your absence. Let people start to feel what it's like when you're not around, but only after they're used to you being around, right? Only after that point, right? You can become more scarce and become less available because you've established yourself and established demand for you, right? Similarly, if people don't know your product that you're selling or your service, then once again, it's totally irrelevant to be like it's limited time, because limited people want it, limited supply, limited people want it. So you need to get your product out there. You need to market it, whether that's YouTube ads, Facebook ads, referrals, Google ads, whatever it is you're doing. You need to get it in front of people. And from there, once people know about your product and know about it, then you can restrict it to like, hey, we opened it to beta test. Now it's paid only and limited slots, just because it can only handle so many. But if you don't first let people know, the whole market know what you're doing, then no one cares. Again, your demand is zero, altering your supply leaves the price at zero. Whether you shift it up or shift it down just doesn't matter, right? So that's the basic principle. Now, for you, again, always want to make this useful to you. How can you put this to use? How can you apply it in your own social life, in your own work, online business, and so on, right? Like, for instance, this is an example. Not all of you are doing online business and stuff like that. Some of you have jobs. You can't come to your job and be like, hey, start off and say, I can't be here on these days because I have to do this other thing. Your employer's gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're fired. I'm gonna hire someone else. You don't get the job, right? However, if you establish yourself and you become very good at what you do, and you become the best at what you do, you become the hard carry for your team, the best person at your specific job, then it's like, hey, I want to move in another direction. It's like, whoa, 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 we can't lose you. What do you want? Can we pay you more? Can we shift to this? How can we make things nicer for you, right? So that's one more example of how you need to establish yourself first. Okay, so for you, how can you use this? Have you been making yourself too scarce before people will get a chance to acquire a demand for you? Have you been not being scarce enough, too available all the time with everything that you're doing, that you feel cheap just because you're around, you're so available, you're so easy, right? Easy to get. So how can you establish yourself more to start, and how can you make yourself scarce once you've set that up? And here's another important thing is like scarcity. Okay, so there's some strategy in it, but it shouldn't just be scarcity for scarcity's sake, because that's fake and people can smell that. If it's like, I see your text message, I'm just not going to respond for hours because I'm going to be scarce. That's not nearly as good as, I didn't see your text message because I was doing my own thing, my own training, whatever, hanging out with other people or I was reading, whatever. I logged onto my phone 2 hours later, I actually responded right away, but I just didn't see it, right? So that's the difference. Like, it's not like, all right, I'm going to lock myself in my room and do my own thing here. It's more like you want to have more stuff. There's so many cool things going on, so many cool options, such a fun life that well, I'm just busy. I've got a lot of options, right? That's where you want to be at. So hope you find this useful. Hope you can apply this, and we'd love to see what you have to say in the comments down below about how you're putting this to use in your own life, in your own relationships, your own business, and so on. And will respond if you have any questions about this particular topic. You can add more, and I will be back with an answer to that. So much love, Trab out here, and appreciate you. Hope you found it useful. Look forward to hearing what you have to say. Peace.